Hi there, Avril.
Hello.
Well, now we met briefly the other evening, and one thing I do know about you is that you're very curious about hypnosis, about the experience of hypnosis, and about how people go into a nice, comfortable, hypnotic state, and how this often just happens all by itself. First of all, before you start to really learn something new for yourself, I wonder if you can just tell me, how do you feel at this moment?
Slightly nervous.
Slightly, only slightly nervous?
Yes, actually.
You don't feel incredibly nervous?
No.
Only slightly nervous.
Fairly relaxed person.
That's good. But I can tell you now, it's important to have a little bit of nervousness somewhere, because you know you can only do good work if you have some good materials to work with. So a little bit of nervousness is rather a nice asset.
There's a bit there, don't worry.
Whereabouts is it?
Don't know, around here, sort of.
In chest here? Yeah. Anywhere else?
No, the hands, I suppose, are a bit tense, but
Yeah.
no, it's all right.
Okay. Feel a bit better?
Yes. Deep
Isn't it
breath.
interesting how when you take a breath like that, you didn't have to think about it?
No.
Somehow your body knew that it had to take a breath in order for you to relax. And how do those hands feel now?
Not too bad.
Which hand do you think feels the most tense at this moment?
That one, I think.
Your right hand feels more tense than your left. So your left hand is left there feeling more relaxed than your right, which is tense here. Is that right? Okay. So you'd be surprised if this right hand was left feeling more relaxed than your left. Nice to just smile when it's unexpected. Have a little laugh or a smile. Do you enjoy humour?
Yes.
So do I. Now, I think humour is very important in therapy and in hypnosis. A lot of people think hypnosis is something quite serious. I find that it's something you can utilize humour with. I like the idea of utilizing those natural resources to laugh and enjoy this experience. I find that very important. Now, people often ask me, what happens when you go into a trance? And I say to them, well, when you go into a nice, comfortable, hypnotic state, all kinds of changes happen to your body, to the muscles in your body, in your face, breathing changes, blink reflex changes, and the little smile comes all by itself. It's almost like there's a part of you that knows what I'm talking about. Now, you know, people communicate on many, many levels. People communicate with language and also with non-verbal communication. I'd like to include as part of the non-verbal communication changes in tonality, changes in the tempo of a voice, pitch of a voice. Do you know you can say things in so many different ways? I can say to you, I wonder what it feels like to go into a trance. And you can take that in many different ways. You can think of it as a question. You can think of it as something else that you can respond to. But you don't have to think that you're thinking about it, because that change in tonality that occurs as I say that statement can in fact register at a different level. Are you aware that you pick things up consciously and also subconsciously as you go through life?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. It's like you can walk down the street, you see a smile on a face of a stranger, and you register that smile, but you don't think about it consciously. It just happens to pass you by. It may be another time, another day, in another place. You remember that smile or that face. Maybe you see somebody that looks like that person, and you're reminded of that person that smiled to you, because you picked that information up without even considering that you were picking it up consciously. Now, with hypnosis, what I do is to talk to both parts of you, that is your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. And you know, the interesting thing is you don't even have to listen. You know, at school you're taught to concentrate You mustn't daydream. You're told that you should have your attention focused all the time on the teacher. Well, here I'd like to encourage you to let your mind wander. You ever let your mind wander sometimes?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you wonder about when you wander?
Well, I lead quite a hectic life, so I don't have too long to sort of think. When I do relax, I don't know, I like to read books, so I think of things, I suppose, in books. Because I watch television in the afternoons, that's when we're closed. And, I don't know, far away places. I'd like to travel.
You ever travel in your mind?
Sometimes.
Where do you like to go?
Well, I think back to holidays we've had. And, do you mean a specific place?
Do you have somewhere in mind?
I think Turkey was my favourite place. I think about that because we're thinking of going back there this year. So.
Yeah. What stands out in your mind about Turkey? What is the memory that comes to mind most easily?
Lying by the swimming pool.
Yeah.
What everybody does on holiday, I suppose.
And what is it that you like about lying by the swimming pool?
That there was nobody else around, except the person I was with, obviously. It was absolutely deserted.
So you felt...
It was lovely.
Yeah. Nice to have that feeling. Yet there was one person there you could communicate to whenever you wanted to, and they could communicate to you, but you could just be in your own little world.
Well, yes, we go on holiday, really, not to have to talk to anyone, because we do it all year round.
Yeah. How nice to have that peace and comfort and relaxation.
We really like to be on our own. And it's rare in a holiday resort, so it was lovely to find this part where there was nobody else there.
And how do you feel? What does your body feel like when you're in a place like that?
Totally relaxed.
Have you noticed how your breathing has changed as you've been talking about this?
Is it?
How has your breathing changed? Slowed down? Notice you keep a little bit of nervousness there, still a little bit. And you're probably quite... Yeah?
Sort of gripping, I think.
Yeah. Well, keep a real firm hold of that chair. And whatever you do, don't let go until your subconscious mind knows that you can go all the way into a nice, deep, comfortable, hypnotic state. Don't let go until you find that happening all by itself. Somebody asked me the other day, okay, so these changes occur to you when you go into trance. Changes in muscle tension in your face, alteration in respiration, blinking. What actually happens? I said, I don't really quite know what happens when you go into a trance, but something I've noticed is that your awareness or your attention seems to shift from external things to internal things. You can see me sitting here talking to you, but you could probably also imagine me sitting in front of the front door of your house. You could superimpose the front door of where you live behind me and see two images simultaneously. One's outside and one's inside. And hypnosis seems to involve a shifting from external reality to an internal reality. Now, I'm very curious about those feelings you're having in your eyes right at this moment. You notice how you're blinking? And that's not something you do every day, blinking in that special way. But don't close your eyes and go into a deep trance until your subconscious mind knows that it can happen all by itself. You understand that? Okay, and you just wait and hold on. Okay, you don't want too much of a good thing all at once. The best kind of presents, I think, you can give to someone are the ones with lots of wrapping paper. Because you have to unwrap them nice and slowly. And as you unwrap them, so the excitement builds. You become more and more interested, curious about what's inside that present. I think of myself as someone who gives presents to people an awful lot. But often they don't know they're getting it. And every now and then you have a little glimpse or some idea of what the present might be.
I can close my eyes if I want to.
But not until it happens by itself.
Oh, no.
You notice how harder you try to keep them open, the more difficult it becomes. They almost want to close. Now, when you hear a word, you don't pay attention to the individual letters. When you hear a statement, you don't pay attention to the individual words. You can take a word like now, and there's an N, there's an O, there's a W. And of course, there's a W in the word now. The word backwards means one. Now, one. One now, yet there's a W in the word now. There can be a one in the word now and a W in the word now. How do you make sense of something like that?
I've never thought about it.
You've really never thought about that. In the same way that you've never paid attention to the individual words in a sentence. Yet your subconscious mind listens for every word, every syllable, every letter. But you don't have to pay any attention to those details. You can just enjoy being in Turkey. Yeah. You notice how you keep going there every moment? You just close your eyes, you go back to Turkey. That's it. A nice feeling. That's it. Now. That's right. Now. Now those alterations in your body can develop in their own way, in their own time. I'd like you to carry on holding on to the chair with those hands. Just holding on to the chair with those hands. Keeping that grip on that chair. I can tell you that the muscles in your face have smoothed out really very well. Your respiration has changed. Breathing. Pulse is slowing down. You can see the alteration in your pulse, in your neck. And this alteration in your physiology parallels the experience of going into a nice hypnotic state. But you don't have to try to do anything. You really don't have to try to do anything, Avril, because your subconscious mind can let that happen. Now, how do you feel at this moment? I'd like you to share that with me. How do you feel right now?
Warm.
Warm. Do you feel warm more on one side of your body than the other, or maybe the top half compared to the bottom half, or all over? All over. And is that how you'd feel if you're in Turkey, nice and warm? Yeah. Nice place to be. That smile tells me an awful lot about your experience. You find there's a little bit of humorous as well. What do you find humorous about it? Please tell me.
It's comfortable.
It's comfortable.
Very comfortable.
Very comfortable. Now, I wonder where you can be even more comfortable. I can talk to you. As I talk to you, I can also talk to you. Only when I talk to you is there any need for you to listen. So when I'm talking to you, you don't have to pay any attention. Just let your mind wander, become absorbed in your own thoughts. You're breathing out. Each time you breathe out, so you can go nice and comfortably deeper into this hypnotic state without any effort on your part. Now, those hands can experience something very special for themselves. Now, you're nice and upright in this chair. Upright in this chair. a nice comfortable position. You know, in this country we call a lift a lift. In the States they call a lift an elevator. I suppose in the States they call an elevator an elevator, and they think that we call an elevator a lift. It doesn't matter what you call it, the same thing applies. That movement. It's nice to have a little bit of movement in your life. You like to have movement in your life? Yes. And isn't it interesting in just attempting of trying to respond to a question like, do you like to have a little movement in your life? It's difficult to actually answer. Difficult to put a little movement into your life at this moment. That stillness. You notice that? Yeah. But you can nod your head, can you not? That's right. You can nod your head. Tell me, as you breathe, notice how your hands feel different from each other. Which hand feels maybe the heaviest or the lightest, or the warmest? Maybe one hand feels it's holding on, or the other hand feels more relaxed. Tell me at this moment, how does your left hand feel compared to your right hand?
It's lighter.
Your left hand feels lighter than your right. So you're left there with a light feeling. And isn't that interesting? Notice those feelings in that hand at this moment now, in that left hand. Notice what's happening to that left hand. It happens all by itself. And you're not even thinking about the heaviness in your right hand as that movement in your left hand occurs all by itself. Now I wonder, will that left hand lift at the wrist or the elbow? You can wonder how that will happen. Will it be the fingers that lift up before the wrist, or will it be the wrist that lifts before the elbow, or will it be at the shoulder that arm lifts up into the air? You feel that? That's it. Just let it relax. Now you're going to have difficulty keeping it down. Almost as if there's a nice relaxing blast of air pushing it up, just letting it hover nicely. And as that starts to happen more and more now, however, just allow yourself to go deeper and deeper into hypnosis. But you don't have to try to do anything with that arm. That can just happen all by itself. That's right. Now normally you can open your eyes whenever you wish. Maybe you'd like to learn something now as you try to open your eyes. You can try to open your eyes. That's it. That's interesting. The harder you try, the tighter shut they become. The tighter shut they become, the deeper and deeper and deeper you can go into a nice hypnotic state. That's right. Just deeper and deeper. That's it. That's it. That's it. That. Now, you can enjoy being in Turkey. And your subconscious mind can understand everything I say without you having to listen. Your subconscious mind has already demonstrated how that left hand can lift and get light by itself. how your right hand can feel that heaviness, and how those eyes have difficulty in opening. Your subconscious mind knows more about you than you do. And as I talk to you, so you can just allow yourself to go deeper and deeper. And you can be in this special place. You can be by the swimming pool. How does it feel to be by the swimming pool? Letting your mind wander. You can have a dream. You can have a dream, and in your dreams, go anywhere you choose. And my voice can become part of that dream. The sound of my voice be part of that experience of dreaming. Become part of the sound, the wind, part of the sound of your own breathing sound. This becomes part of your experience. As you go deeper and deeper, comfortably, to a nice hypnotic state. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to think about it. You don't even have to pay any attention to how you're going deeper. That's right. That's right. And you know you can experience a change, alteration in time. You could be enjoying yourself watching a good film, and time seems to pass so quickly. You're not even aware that time has flown by. It seems just like a few moments have passed, and you feel so comfortable watching that film. Yet also you could be doing something you don't like, and time seems to really drag. You know those kind of experiences? How do you do that? How do you alter time? How do you make a long time happen in just a few seconds? You know, you can dream of a whole series of events that span several hours, and you put all of those moments into just a fraction of a second in dream time. In real world time, I could give you just 10, 20 seconds. Yet in hypnotic time, you can experience a whole lifetime's experience of doing things, achieving things for yourself. And that just happens automatically. And also, in a hypnotic state, you can bring about alterations in sensations in different parts of your body, in your hands, your arms, your legs, your face. You know, a hand can easily lose sensations, and you don't have to even know how it's happening. You may have had the experience of lying in bed and realizing that you've been sleeping on an arm. And that arm is numb and heavy, sort of a wooden-like feeling, almost as if it doesn't belong to you. You know what I'm talking about, do you not? You notice a little of that at this moment? Yeah. And which arm is that in? That arm? Yes. Almost a temptation to move it, to get rid of that numbness. Yet the harder you try to get rid of that numbness, the more numb it becomes. I don't know whether that numb sensation can spread down from the shoulder all the way down to the tips of the fingers, or from the fingers upwards. You can be curious about how that numbness develops in its own way. Maybe a tingling, maybe a pins and needles type feeling, or just total lack of sensation in that arm, as if it doesn't belong to you.
My neck's aching.
Your neck's aching. And which side of your neck aches? The left side of your neck aches, and the right side of your neck feels comfortable. I'd like your subconscious mind to make the right side of your neck ache. Will it ache more towards the front or to the back, I wonder? Just wait and discover how your subconscious mind makes the right side of your neck ache. Let me know when you notice that ache in the right side of your neck. Meanwhile, that arm can get heavy in its own way. Now, normally you could lift that arm, could you not? Notice that heaviness now. Maybe almost as if it's tied down to the arm of the chair. As if it's stuck down to the arm of the chair. The harder you try to lift it, the heavier it becomes. You can really try, and the muscles in the shoulder, try hard to lift that arm. That's it. You're not trying hard enough. Really try hard. That's it. It's so difficult. And isn't that a strange sensation to have? And you can wonder what else you can achieve in this special hypnotic state. You're doing very, very well, Avril, learning on many levels. And what's happened to your neck now? You don't know? Have you got an ache on the right side yet? It's starting to happen. And what's happening to the left side? Feels a bit better. How interesting that as we shift the ache from the left to the right, so the left feels a little bit better. You're left with that comfortable feeling. And right here, I have control over that ache. You know, I can make that ache on the right side, and I can take it away. Because I made it happen. So I can help you feel even more comfortable, but not until all of the ache is shifted from the left to the right. That can just happen in its own time. Now, how does your right arm feel now? All right. What do you think you can or cannot do with it?
Can't lift it.
You can't lift it. You not only cannot lift it, you can't release that grip you have on the chair. Notice how those fingers are just stuck in that position? That rigidity in those fingers on the right hand? In a few moments, I'm going to ask you to open your eyes and look at that right hand. So just move your head so that you're in a position to look at that right hand. That's it. Now you can try to open your eyes and look at that right hand. That's it. Now look at that right hand. And you can be most curious about whose hand that is. You can look at that hand and wonder if it's yours, but have a different feeling. Or you can think it's someone else's, but know that it's yours without knowing that it is. How does it feel to look at that hand?
Strange.
It looks strange. You know, it can look even stranger. Now, in a moment, I'm going to lift that arm in a certain way. And whatever you do, don't take your eyes off that hand. You're going to find it difficult. And as I lift that arm, I'd like you to notice something happening. Now, notice that rigidity in that arm now. Now, that hand feels almost as if there's a sort of an iron bar inserted down the middle of that arm. Just that staying there in that position. But that hand can be limp, but that arm can be just stuck there in that position. That's it. That's it. Now, how interesting to have that rigidity in your arm, yet that limp feeling in your hand. Now, you can move your hand. But then as you move your hand, notice a certain rigidity developing in your fingers. And how does that happen all by itself? You can be curious about what it feels like to bend those fingers, but not being able to demonstrate it to yourself. And then notice what happens to your eyelids. Now, that's right. And you really can't put that arm down. You can't move the left arm. You can't move the right arm. You can really try hard to lower that right arm. The harder you try, the more difficult it becomes. Almost as if there are strings just holding it up here, holding it up, lifting it up. That's lifting. As you're upright, get that feeling. That's it. And that hand can slowly move towards your face. Very slowly. But don't go all the way back into the past until that hand touches your face. That's it. That's it. All the way back through time. The calendar, pages, changing, turning back, going back through time. Very quickly, all the way back, some early memory when you were a little child. And a little child first learns to touch her face and explore her face. Explore the feelings in that face now. Just learn what it feels like to have a face. Really learn something from exploring that face. And you can feel that hand touching your face, yet may even not be aware that it's your hand. Interesting sensation to have. How does it feel as a little girl to have that hand just gently touching your face? It's a nice feeling. You know whose hand it is? You really don't know. You can think you know, but you really don't know. Now try it. Wow. It's nice to feel that safe, comfortable, secure feeling as a child, just exploring and learning something about yourself. Tell me, where do you think you are as a child now?
Cot.
In the cot. And you can look out of the cot and wonder what it's like to have the freedom to be outside of this cot. You like to get out and play? You want to stay in the cot? Stay in the cot. What are you wearing?
Blue.
Wearing blue. Seemed to surprise you. But you really didn't know you'd be wearing blue. Now, let's move ahead in time a little while, maybe a few years. Being a slightly older child, tell me, as your hand lowers down, slowly as it lowers, become that child at a slightly older age. What's happening now? What's this experience about? Do you know how old you are at this moment? You really don't know. What's happening? You don't know. Okay. Did your subconscious mind give you some images, shapes, colors, experiences? There's some feelings there as well. You notice those feelings? That's it. Just hold on to those feelings. Where do you feel those feelings at? Where do you feel them?
Music. My ears.
Your ears. You can hear with your ears. And you can hear with your ears here. And what's the music that you hear? The radio. Well, just listen to this radio. Tell me what happens next. You don't know. And where are you listening to the radio?
Front room at home.
In the front room at home. Anybody with you?
My father.
Your father. And what are you doing? In addition to listening to the radio, you play?
Sitting on the settee.
Sitting on the settee. Are you feeling happy or sad? You're happy? Is it a nice feeling you have? And what's your father doing? Reading a newspaper. That's a nice thought to have. Okay. Now, throughout your life, you've done a number of different things. You had a number of different interests, activities you've enjoyed, and you know those activities you've enjoyed. Sometimes it's easy to forget things. You know, You can be in a conversation, and halfway through the conversation you forget what you were talking about. You've had that experience, have you not? Or you go off at a tangent and you lose the thread of the conversation and you really can't remember what you were talking about. Now, you know from your own experience that there are sometimes you can't open your eyes, and there are sometimes when you can, and you can wonder what the difference is. How do your eyes feel at this moment?
Oh, they're not too tight.
They're not too tight. And that's wonderful. Now, you can know what you look like. You know what you look like, do you know? And you know what a chair looks like. I'd like you to look at yourself on that settee, listening to the radio. You describe what you look like now. Mm-hmm.
Straight hair.
Mm-hmm.
Brown.
Brown. Mm-hmm. Okay. In a moment, I'd like you to learn something of importance for yourself. In a moment, just as soon as your subconscious mind is ready, I'd like you to discover that your eyes open all by themselves. And when that happens, you look in front of you and you see yourself sitting there. I don't know whether you will see yourself as a child, as a teenager, as an adult. I don't know what you will be wearing when you see yourself just as soon as you open your eyes. Whether it'll be at a certain age when you were a young child, an older age when you were a teenager, or as an adult, you can see yourself. And when you see yourself, learn something new about yourself that you never knew before. Now, I don't want you to do that until your subconscious mind is ready to give you that image, to give you that experience, so real, in such detail, that you really see yourself and believe in every way that you are there, almost like a twin sister sitting there in front of you. See yourself in every detail there in front of you. That's right. And just look at yourself now. Look at yourself up and down and learn something. How does it feel?
A lot thinner.
A lot thinner. How old is she there? How old is the other you? You're 14 here and there. Now I wonder what it's like for a 14-year-old to look at a woman like yourself. You can be the you here looking at the you there. Look from over here at the you there. What do you think that you think of her? You know, this here is how you're going to become. Is there anything that you want to change about the you in this chair?
I'd like to be thinner. Stay the same weight, I think.
You'd like to be thinner? Fine. Now your eyes can close. That's it, as you go deeper, deeper. And how can you find yourself getting thinner? How is that going to happen? It's not going to happen in a matter of seconds. But let's do some traveling in time. In a few moments I'm going to give you a task, but I'm not going to tell you what it is until I give it to you. But you know, you can change time. You can experience 3 or 4, 5, 6 months of time happening in just a few seconds of real world time. And you're going to learn from this. But I'm not going to tell you the task until it's time to do it. I'm going to give you 20 seconds of real world time. And I'm going to time that 20 seconds of real world time. And in that 20 seconds, I want you to experience 6 months of future time. Are you ready? Okay. Now, I want you to experience the next 6 months of your life and discover everything you needed to do, everything that you had to do and did successfully to lose weight. Now. Okay, are you finished? Okay, now just look back over the last 6 months. And look back at all the steps you needed to take in order to lose that weight that you wanted to lose the first time you saw me. Notice how you broke those things down into easy to handle steps. And how much weight have you lost over this 6 months since the time that we first met? How many pounds do you think you've lost?
Stone.
About a stone. And that's some achievement. And look back and notice how you did it in those easy to manage steps. And just take a look at yourself now in the mirror. And notice how you look. You want to put a little bit more weight back on? You're happy with this amount of weight loss? It's a start. 1 stone is a start. I'm going to suggest that with your success, that you ought to have a little relapse. You know, I don't know whether it'll be a few weeks or a month, that you could relapse and put on maybe half a pound or so before you get back on course again. And then maybe you have another little relapse a month or so after that before you get back on course again. And for your subconscious mind to give you as many relapses as are healthy for you. For you to lose weight successfully, but to maintain your optimum health for your own well-being. Okay, now let's travel back through time to the present moment with me. Back to the present moment with me. Have you got the feelings back in that arm yet? Wonderful. And what about the right hand? That feel fine? Yeah. I'd like to.
Still aches, that one.
That still aches. Maybe you could keep a little of that ache for a while after you come out of hypnosis as part of your education. Now, I can ask you to come out of hypnosis in any number of ways. I can use all kinds of sound. I don't have to use my voice. And you can find yourself going back into trance very quickly in a way that is very surprising and humorous for you. So prepare yourself coming out of trance in a moment. 1, 2, 3. Hi there. Wow, how are you?
Fine.
Feeling fine. What does it feel like to go into a trance? Now, you can try and open your eyes, and this time, the harder you try, the more difficult it becomes. Just try to open those eyes now. The more tightly shut they become. The harder you try, the more tighter shut they become. Really try. You're not trying hard enough. That's it, a real effort. Really put all of your effort into it. And then when you don't expect it, hi there. What do you like to do with yourself in your spare time, Avril?
Well, we usually sleep.
You sleep in your spare time?
Because the rest of the time we're working very hard.
So sometimes you need
I'm not at all energetic, which I should be.
You need time to relax and just let go sometimes. It's nice to just let yourself go now. That's right. That's right. Just deeper and deeper relax. And you have a wonderful way of relaxing and altering your breathing. And you know that you can go into a trance. You can go into a nice, comfortable, relaxed state anytime you wish. You know how to do that? All you have to do is to think of that word, now. And that happens just for one person. That happens for you. It also happens for the double you. Both of you, the double you, can go back into a hypnotic state just by hearing the sound of my voice say that word, now. So anytime, whenever you want, just a few moments to yourself, just to relax yourself at work, just to take a little time to yourself. All you have to do is to hear my voice saying, now. And just by hearing my voice saying now, so your eyes can just close and both of you can just go into a nice, comfortable, hypnotic state. The two yous that happen when you hear the word now. And to get yourself out of this nice, comfortable, hypnotic state, all you have to do is to hear this. Hi there. What keeps happening to you?
I don't know.
How does it feel when that happens?
It feels nice.
Feels nice. I'm glad it feels nice. Interesting how it seems to happen all by itself. It's not something that you make happen. It seems just to happen to you. You know the feeling? Yeah. I'd like you just to hear me saying the word, now. I almost don't believe that it works. How nice to have that skill at your disposal anytime you want it. You know that's going to help you lose weight as well. But you don't even need to know how, because your subconscious mind knows for you. Just taking that little time to yourself is going to alter the way you eat so that you lose weight effectively. And I'm very keen to hear from you in the future about how successful you are at losing weight. And then to bring yourself out of this trance, all you have to do is hear. How about that? I'd like you just to listen and hear that word this time. Hear it to yourself. That's it. That's it. shifting the experience from outside now, so that it's now inside of you. Now inside of you. That's, you're doing very, very well. Now inside of you. Now I wonder if you can hear the sound of my fingers clicking inside your head and bring yourself out of this hypnotic state in that way. Yes. Yeah, you did very well. Very, very well. Why do you keep shaking your head for?
I don't understand it.
You don't understand it.
Mm.
You know, there are a lot of things in life that you won't need to understand because they're going to happen all by themselves. How nice to lose weight, to give yourself those few moments in time without knowing how you have to do it. It just happens all by itself. That's a nice thing to have. You know what I mean by giving people presents now? I like to give people presents like that. That's a present you're never going to lose. It's always going to be part of you. Like tying a shoelace. All those things you take for granted, it's just going to become part of your everyday life. Once more. Okay. Now I hear the word. Oh, you're doing it already? Hear the word. I'd like you just to discover that you can try and open your eyes and find it difficult until you hear the sound of that click. Just try first. Notice that. And you know how to bring yourself out? That's it. Well, you've done very well. You know what I do for a living? I push snowballs down hills. You know what I do? I get a handful of snow and I roll it.